the cognitive mind, a well-thinking cognitive mind, under majority of circumstances, don't make mistake.
Come link with me under the Iroko tree. Make a reason to every season. Speaking the truth for the youths. Maintaining the spiritual rules. Maintaining the spiritual rules. Maintaining the spiritual rules.
Blessed love, blessed love, blessed love. Universal family, African family, world family. Welcome forward again under the Iroko tree, Iroko reasoning. Spiritual roots, tapping into the spiritual roots of things, as always. As we say, Hotep, Uncle, Jas, Neb. As we come forward in the spirits and energies of Ma'at, Ubuntu. I would say we give thanks to the ancestors, those who taught us what not to do, those who taught us what to do. And we just that breath of fresh air, and we give thanks. Yeah, so the sun a peep through this, so sweet energy in the evening. Yeah, yeah, so this one you know we want to tap into apologies and taking responsibility for what we have done. So first I want to say the cognitive mind, a well-thinking cognitive mind, under majority of circumstances, don't make mistake. What we end up with is having regrets. So we don't make mistake. Once we are talking about under normal circumstances, somebody will say sensible, we have sense. We don't make mistake. And we need to take responsibility for our actions. Yeah, and I also want to add, or just say, I said this some time ago in the next video, and this is not me, and that is, I am not here coming from a perfect place or even trying to say I am in a perfect place. Is just based on whatever little experience, and then looking at life now and see how life is now, and is to learn and share. So all these things, may I try address them within myself if I not address them yet, and things I want to implement within my life if I not implement them yet, things I want to work on, the way I want to grow, you know what I mean, the type of human being I want to become, and then make that be the influence where all the other young ones around me can see and learn from, and even adults as well, you know what I mean, big people. So I want to say that too. So it's not coming from a perfect place, is from the same place where everybody else there. It's just that me might have a little different outlook or insight, so to speak, and just share that, and hopefully it can help somebody else. Hopefully somebody can comment in the comment section and give them views, and that somehow help me also. So it's about the learning and the sharing, you know. And as I have a little quote to say, learning to unlearn to learn. So that's the stage where we're there. And each day we kind of, let's say, wake up making the self a blank slate. So we absorb and observe all of what's possible within the time and space within the day, and to somehow learn from everything and everyone, and just give thanks to be in the space we call the world and among all other life forms. So yeah, I will give thanks. So is after we do what we do, and it probably not come out in our favor in the way we hoped it would have, without those around us getting hurt. So at that point, when it doesn't work out that way, then it becomes a mistake for most of us, or for the most part. Yeah, so when we check in and look on it, we need to take responsibility for our actions. And then there are certain things we shouldn't accept apology for, and there are certain things we shouldn't bother to apologize for. You know what I mean? So if we really check into what we are doing and our behaviors, then we need to be brave enough, adult enough, courageous enough, and truthful enough, and I dare I say convicted or committed enough to the actions that we're willing to take, given all the possible outcomes that can derive from whatever action. So we don't make mistakes. So any any steps or thoughts that we take to make something become a complete action, meaning contemplated, once it takes more than 2 or 3 steps or thought, we had enough time to stop ourselves. And then mistakes are for those who have never experienced a particular thing, so therefore we have no idea of what the result would have been. And within this time and age and place where we there, for those of us who are adult enough and can admit to what we are doing, then we recognize we don't make mistakes. And we need to own up to that. As we said, we need to be brave and courageous enough and stand up to our actions. Yeah, so at the stage where we there, we have seen and heard almost everything where every human being before us has gone through, and we know the results of those actions. But somehow we are bent and convicted enough to these things, to repeat these things, and then repeat the same actions in terms of apologizing or saying this or that, just to somehow appease ourselves and then the person who we hurt. And if we really look on it, it don't make sense. So your grandmother, your grandfather, your parents, our parents, aunts, uncles, all these people before us been through these things, done these things. We see the results of them: broken home, broken family, broken society, broken neighborhood, broken community. So why we are repeat the same things and for the most part exactly the same way, and it's not making sense, and we really need to check in and look on it. It now makes sense in no way, shape or form. So we need to be brave enough. I am going through a situation. It's been a couple of months now, and as them say, and I like it get easier. It's just that we get better at dealing with it, whatever the it is, at the whichever space and time we occupy. So we need to recognize, yeah, so whatever I was going through or what happened, I found myself asking for an apology. Yeah, one of them close to the heart situation. And because we have been socialized to behave this way, something do you, the person's supposed to apologize, to show some kind of remorse, and somehow that's supposed to make you feel better. Yeah, but sometimes it does. And to admit when you're in the situation, the space and the time, when whatever is just happened, it's kind of hard to see otherwise. So you need what you need at that time, and if you need to ask it, you're going to ask it. It's just to get yourself past that time. So, but in hindsight, when you look back, you realize whatever that particular thing that took place, when you look on it, there were several actions that would have led up to whatever that final outcome became. So when you look on it, if you say somebody would have willing to do that to bring you harm, hurt, there were so much time and space for them to look on what them they do and realize, let's say I'm the one committing whatever act. Enough space and time supposed to be there in majority of the cases and situations to say, I've seen my parents go through this, I've seen wider society go through this, aunts, uncles, nieces. So what makes it, how good am I going to be now to take this action and not have that person that I supposedly or so-called say I care about not go through that same kind of hurt and pain. So yeah, we need to not accept apologies for that, and then the person who is committing the act or have committed the act need to be big and brave enough to stand up for them action and say, I'm going to apologize for this, cause you know what I mean? In real and in fact, there were so many thoughts, there were so many times, there were so many factors that could have stopped me. So many thoughts. So I'm going to apologize for. It might seem brutal on the outset, it might seem wicked, but in truth and in fact, whatever actions I was carrying out at that time to pleasure myself, to be selfish, just wanting to do what I was doing just for me, and not, yeah, while you were thinking about the next person, but you never wanted to be responsible for the next person within that moment, as this action or whatever I'm about to do is pleasing to me in the immediate situation I'm in, and I feel like I want this for myself. So we're supposed to be brave enough not to apologize for that. And it is not meant to be wicked to the next person, really. It's meant to be more honest, really, if we really look on it. So while we feel like we want the apology, we want something to appease us, something to make we feel a little bit better within ourselves, to not let us feel so broken, or let's say I am the one doing whatever, to not let the next person feel so broken. Then, but in truth and in fact, we need to take responsibility for what we're doing, what we have done. Because for the most part, most of what we do, we have foresight to it. And we're talking about like to give burn and to kill people, for all the actions and what we are going to take, where are going to make, are going to bring unwanted results, unfavorable results. So we need to check into that and stop apologizing for things that we were doing and well cognizant of. We weren't under the influence of nothing. This is something that was somehow pleasing to us within the time and space. We look on it and say, yeah, I want this for myself, and I'm going to take this action. Hopefully, whosoever we don't want to find out, don't find out. But when it comes to that now, it becomes a mistake, because now we have a result that we never want to happen, which we knew was possible. So we need to take responsibility for that. So in the situation of, let's say, harming someone in terms of killing or shooting or stabbing, the moment, let's say I go on party, the moment you take up your gun, load the clip, push it in the chamber, push it in your waist, and somehow have the thought of, anybody feel like they want to mess with me tonight, they might get it. That's premeditated, really. So therefore, something might happen at the party that is impulsive, a buckle job, accidentally bust, spill upon your clothes, and the first thing you reach for your gun to defend whatever you feel so you need to defend at that point. It is coming from the thought you had before you left home. Same thing if you put a knife in your waist and say, yo, I got a party, you know, and the fussy feel like, Ray. You premeditated that, you set that in your mind, say, alright, then my reaction going to be this. So that is not something you're going to apologize for, or feel shaky when police come and try to make it look like you did set out to create a situation for yourself. You know what I mean? So this is not. So we get socialized to say the person must apologize, to show some kind of remorse, for somehow that make we feel better. But when we really look on it, whatever the person did, they did with a cognitive mind, no kind of influences really. And even if you were under the influence, that influence for the alcohol or some kind of drugs, why were you taking it? What was the thought for you to take it? You know what I mean? So it is a build up to that final action, which we know going to be whatever result comes, that result was possible. So we need to check into this, we need to look on it. The person who is getting hurt from the person who is doing the action, we need to realize, as me say something one time, we say, why are you being so understanding? You need to look on the disrespect that was given to you. You know what I mean? So we try to understand, but really and truly, especially when we know exactly what the situation is and how it took place, then the details of that is going to tell us whether will somehow demonstrate to you how much time between the final action and how much thought process would have gone into what happened. So we need to check into this, we need to look into it. And as we said, spiritually tapping in. Spirituality, as we have simplified spirituality, is just choosing the best action to do for yourself, and also keeping those you love in mind and care for in mind, and wanting to hurt them as less as possible. So it's just choosing the best action for everyone involved. So in the Gibbon situation, clothes have to take off. Well, given, yeah, we know so some crazy thing going on sometime, but something have to move, come out of the way. And within all of whatever actions, as me say, as long as it takes more than 2 thoughts or 2 steps to create a final action, that was enough time for you to stop and realize, given that the precedence has been set in terms of all who we have known and seen and all the results of all those things. So therefore we're not doing anything new. So we know all the possibilities of the actions that we're about to take, and what can possibly come from those actions, and how much people can be hurt by those actions. So we need to be big enough not to apologize, for actions that we were willing to take, And then the person who is hurting, as I said, within the situation, it's going to be hard for you to even think that way. But we need to, as we say, look on the situation, especially if you know the person to a certain extent. Is this an impulsive person? Is this a person who just going to randomly just jump on the stuff? You know what I mean? So given whether the person is that person or not, you're going to say, all right, knowing so that person is not that impulsive person who just jump on the stuff, then that must have been going on for a while. And then there should have been so many thoughts or things to stop you from getting hurt by that person. So we need to check into these things and look at them, dissect them, and be true to ourselves. And the person who is doing whatever they're doing needs to be true to themselves as well. Yeah, so we need to be big enough to not apologize for things we intended to do. And the person who is getting the hurt need to be somehow, be able to look at the situation and say, all right, that shouldn't have happened based on the amount of thoughts and steps that it took for that to happen. And not wanting to get an apology for that. Because as I say, I've been in a situation, still going through it. I try to heal myself and I do what I have to do. And when it just happened, I find myself ask for the apology. Because there's something about what we've been taught that the apology is supposed to make you somehow feel a little bit better. That the person shows some kind of remorse. So boy, them deal with it that way. Yeah, but just looking back at it, the apology wasn't needed. Because there should have been time and space, all the steps taken to that final result. If it is you were cared for way before all of that action come up into place, how is it that you just suddenly chop off that care and everything at that point to not be concerned or to think about the person and what the person would feel if they finally found out about this action that you're about to take? So trust me, it is a big people thing. It is a thing where we need to come to terms with and cipher through it and realize that, yeah, the cognitive mind, the well-thinking person, we don't really make mistakes. We only end up with regrets. And we need to take responsibility for that. And the regret is just based on the fact that I got found out. I know so this was a possible result. I take all worse if you set all the precautions. We say, all right, take the route, do that. So the person don't find out, because you know, say, once they find out, they're going to be torn up. So from that standpoint, we shouldn't even apologize. And then, as I said, the person who's been hurt, he's going to take a big stance for you to say, I don't need the apology, because analyzing the situation, it could have been avoided. It never need to go that way there. If it's a relationship situation and the person did really, alright, if you have to go cheap on the person, you better find a way to break the relationship before you have to go to that step. Find out if you really want out that bad. You know what I mean? Make we be big people and responsible people enough to say, alright, I want out. So that makes sense to take one step to hurt the person just to prove some want out. And it might not even be proven to give proof that you want out, but it's just an action that's satisfactory to you, but you want to take that step for yourself. But we need to be responsible for the next person as well. No matter how much we lose feelings and remember us at some point we did really care for them, and at some point we did, you know what I mean? So we need to be big people about these things. And we say we need to start develop that rooted sacred principle for ourselves, spiritual principle for ourselves. For no said, all right, this I'm going to do to the next person. That I wouldn't want this to be done to me. If it is even from that standpoint, to say, I wouldn't want this done to me this way. So let me not do it to that person. And that's how spirituality is. So we need to tap in spirituality them way, and realize we're big people and the actions that we are about to take, we need to be big enough to stand up to them and deal with whatever comes, given that we already know all the possible results of these actions. As Mr. Mistakes are for those persons who have no idea of that particular experience, or it's like mixing two compounds. You have never seen the results of that, but you now go mix the compound, them boom, something blasts up, you get burned, blah 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 blah. That is a mistake, because you never know the result of mixing those two compounds. So these are the ways we need to look upon life, and that's spiritually tapping, and that is spiritually tapping into oneself. you know, and taking responsibility for our actions. So, yeah, we need to be big enough, brave enough, courageous enough, truthful and convicted enough within ourselves, committed enough with ourselves to say, and not going to apologize for something where we did really want to do. I guess what we need to apologize, well, we shouldn't even apologize for some boy, we never mean to hurt you, because we didn't know, say, given that the person finds out, they are going to be hurt. So, you know what I mean? It's going to be rough, it can feel kind of harsh, but it is reality. It is even probably more hurtful if you apologize for something you did already know the result of and still went ahead with it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we need to look at these things. We need to be big and brave enough about these things and not keep repeating these things and passing them on to our children as usual. How we are training them, whether we are say or we are do, and they are learning more from what we are doing more than what we are saying. So we need to tap in. But yeah, so be brave enough not to apologize, and then the next person who's been hurt have to be big and brave enough and within the situation to know so that the apology is not even necessary. It is kind of an insult, really. So yeah, as we say, be careful out there. Stop rush to the wrong side of emotion based on what happens in a society. People are saying, boy, your life in a danger and all these things. But we look on the information, we cycle through the information and choose what makes sense from a sense standpoint rather than just rushing to the wrong side of emotion. As we say, life in a danger, so Lord God, me have to do this and me have to do that. So make we look, make we check, make we, and I mean some parrot flying past. So yeah, man. So we say take care of yourself, take care of the environment, take care of the youth, them, take care of the family, and all these things will in turn take care of we. You know what I mean? And peace. Tap in spiritually from minute to minute, day to day, and just know say each action we take is the best action we can take within the space and time, while we are thinking about all the possible results and how they might affect those around us. And we could become big people, not just adults. You know what I mean? Because being an adult is probably based on age. Being a big person is based on how you choose to deal with things and look on life and all of these things. So we need to tap in, as we say, peace, as we come forward in the spirit of Ubuntu, spirits and energies of Ubuntu and Ma'at. So we say blessed love, peace. Take care of yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, especially spiritually. Tap in. Blessed love, world family, African family, universal family. Blessed love.
Come link with me under the Iroko tree. Make a reason, the rebel season. Speaking the truth for the youth. Maintaining the spiritual rules. Maintaining the spiritual rules. Maintaining the spiritual rules.